Hello, everybody, and welcome. So, the first way that a game starts is by a game design document. So, that's what I'm going to go into. But the reason that I'm doing this is because I've seen a lot of channels talk about games that they've made with AI in one shot. And the game is made, and they don't show you anything. They just cut everything out. So, I want to demystify the process. I've made 3 games on my own time, as you've seen from my intro trailer using Unity's AI assistant, and I'm convinced that this works. So I want to show the process from step 0, beginning, until the completion of a commercial game so you can follow along and learn game development. I don't have a lot of programming experience, so I will probably not write a single line of code, and I will show everything that the AI does so you can follow along and learn how to make games on your own as well and follow your own dreams into making games because I'm tired of the channels that don't explain anything and don't teach anything and just cut out the important things that people want to see. And then these devs will say, I did it in 24 hours, and when really they've been working on the game for 6 months and they're just using it as clickbait. So I just want an authentic experience, and this is the game I'm going to be making. It's called Launch the Imp, and it's inspired by Toss the Turtle. So the gameplay loop is pretty simple. You start with a cannon and an imp because, what I was originally planning was like a home run contest for gods where they're hitting an imp or a demon as punishment. But I realized that those animations might be a little bit more complicated, so I figured that a cannon might be easier. So there's a meter that's cycling, the player has to time it at the top to get full power, and that will launch the imp, right? And you can adjust your angle with your mouse by going high or going low, and then the imp gets launched, and depending on how far the imp goes, you get money or currency. And then after you launch the imp, you go to a shop in which you can purchase upgrades in order to then launch the imp farther so that you can get more money, and then you can purchase more upgrades, and then you can launch the imp farther, and I think you see where we're going, right? So I have a lot of these shop items, what you can buy: boosters, guns, cannons, new cannons. You're going to start with the base cannon here, and boosters boost horizontal velocity. Nuke is going to be, like a big explosion. And then while the imp is flying, there are going to be obstacles. So some of them will be positive, like a money bag or a chainsaw man that launches the player horizontally. But some of them are going to be negative, like floor spikes, and spikes hanging from a balloon will immediately stop movement. So part of it's going to be luck, and part of it is going to be, grinding, repetition, and a little bit of skill. Um, and then down here is just explaining some of um, the vertical backgrounds, the ground level, air level, outer space, which is how high that the imp can fly. And then the horizontal, so 0 to 75,000 feet is going to be a city background. Then you get out of the city into a forest, then a desert, volcano, and then wasteland. So these backgrounds are going to change the type of obstacles that will show up and their frequency. So that's kind of how I want to do it. I do have to add a couple more obstacles, maybe to get a total of 20 and a couple more negative ones, but I think this is a great starting ground and we can just move forward with it. So now that you guys know the game, you can kind of get a picture in your head, and I'm going to go ahead and just bring this window over so you can see my process. So before, just starting anything, I like to organize my projects. Um, this is a 2D project opened in Unity. So I'm going to go ahead and make some new folders, one for scripts. So while this isn't necessarily a tutorial, it kind of is. Sprites. Let's go sound effects, can go music, And then within sprites, we're going to need shop sprites, obstacles, imp, the imp, probably backgrounds as well. Backgrounds, right? So I'm just organizing my project files in my game so that I know where to find things. And so when the AI is looking, UI elements, it can know where to put things and where to look as well, right? So I think this is pretty good for now. If anything else comes to mind, I will add it here. Okay, so let's go ahead and connect so sometimes this happens. Select a cloud project. So this will show up and I'm just gonna choose this, create a new cloud project, link it, and then it takes just a moment, right? There we go. So it's linked to the cloud, and now we can close this window and we should gain access to the assistant tool on the right-hand side, right? Yep, so we do. But again, remember what I said, um, we're not going to use the AI right now. We're still going to continue to set things up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate some sprites using the AI tool, right? So let's go to sprite. Let's go to imp first, and let's work on generating the imp. Imp base form, right? So let's see what we can get. We might get some variations, right? So let's see if we want to, okay, Flux 2, Gemini. So this one's good for characters, but seems like it's anime. I don't think we want an anime style for this. I think we want like a cartoon style for this game. Maybe we can just go with Gemini. Hmm. Looks a little realistic to me, but I think characters and I do like this stylized look here. It also is a little realistic for me. Environments. All right, let's give it a try. Let's give Gemini a try, right? So let's go here. And we're gonna, since this is like the base character model, I'm gonna go 5, and I'm gonna say um, a small purple imp demon with 2 horns, a cartoony look and style like Disney. Kind of like a maybe cartoon looking style. I don't necessarily want a Disney style. Um, Drawn. Right, so a purple imp. This will be the base form of the imp. And let's do 5 iterations because I want to just kind of see what it'll generate for us. And then from there, we can choose what essentially the main character of our game is going to look like. And then we can iterate more sprites based off of what we're given, right? I think that's going to be a very good starting ground. So again, this first video, there's not going to be a lot of actual development. We need the assets that we're going to use for our game first before we're going to ask the AI to put them together or to code anything, right? Then we can start building the systems and then we can start iterating and generating. Okay, so, interesting. I was expecting maybe this one, although I was expecting I know we can remove the background. All right, yeah, I think this one's fine. So let me go ahead and remove the background from this image so we can isolate the sprite on its own. I think this one's fine. It does look drawn, kind of like hand drawn, so that is what we asked for. Okay, the background is removed. We have our sprite, right? So now what I'm going to do is, okay, we have the imp in its base form. We want a cannon. So shop sprite, it's gonna probably be in cannons. Make its own folder, and let's go and generate another sprite, uh, base cannon, right? So since we started with Gemini, let's go on with Gemini. A small wooden shoddy built cannon with large wheels. Right, and let's just do, let's say 3, and let's go ahead and generate. So this is the base cannon, the one that's going to be at the start of the game. So it's going to look a little shoddy, wooden, small, right? It's not going to be powerful. If we go back to our game doc, the base cannon is a 2 out of 10 power. Maybe it's going to be made of wood. And then the silver, gold, space tech, diamond, these are a lot nicer. So that's why I'm starting off with wood for now, right? And let's see. Okay, this certainly is not a sprite. This is like an actual photo. So I think I did the generation wrong. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the model because I don't think it's really like doing it in a game dev way. Let's go with this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this. Like I said, guys, I'm gonna show my mistakes. I'm gonna show my, yep, I'm gonna show everything because I value that in YouTube content, and I feel like a lot of the times I don't get that. Wooden cannon, right? So even if I mess up and there's a mistake, a small wooden shoddy cannon sprite with large wheels facing to the right, right? Let's try some more iterations. Let's do 3, and we can choose a dimension. Oh, this one's going to be small, so we can keep it small. Some of the larger ones we can make bigger, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and generate this, and let's see what we get. So yeah, I value transparency, and that's been my main issue with the game dev space. It's really been hard to find any channels that go from start to actual finish to learn anything from. And, so that's why I'm going to show all my mistakes, all my missteps. If I'm wasting time or spending, things that can be improved, maybe I can learn while I'm doing this too. But I want to show everything because I don't think too many channels do that. So, of course, I can have other videos that are just more to the point and better edited, but I think for the purpose of this video, I really want to document my entire journey and share that with, with all you guys. So this generation is taking a little while, which is fine. But sometimes I think that's the longest part about this is waiting for the generations to complete. Okay, this also isn't a sprite. I should say probably. Oh, I see my mistake. Do you see my mistake? Stylized 3D, and this is definitely not. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it looks good. It's just not what I was supposed to make. So we're gonna go ahead and delete this again. And let's try one more time. Generate new sprite wooden cannon. So I have to include 2D there, right? Cannon. I'm gonna include 2D. So Maybe the props, UI props. These look more like borders. They don't really look like something that icons and UIs. Hmm. Isometric props, VFX. Let's try this. Okay. So a 2D wooden cannon sprite facing to the right side looks like it's built in a shoddy way with large wheels. Stylized art style. Yeah, and cartoony. Okay, let's go for 3 is our magic number. Fine aspect ratio. Oh, we can have the transparent background. Let's go with auto for now, and then I'll remove the background if need be. So as I'm making these mistakes, I'm learning better for next time, but also you guys are learning with me. So then when you're using your credits, you're not going to be wasting them, right? I have a whole lot of credits. I have 11,000. But if you watch me do this and have to generate over and over, it's going to save you some credits in the long run. So if you are finding this video helpful, even if it's a little slow, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out, helps me get noticed on YouTube, and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. I will be documenting this game every step of the way as best as I'm able to document. So that is my goal. Let's see what we can get here. Hopefully we can get the cannon sprite going. And soon enough we can go forward. Okay, that looks way better. It is facing to the right. However, not necessarily directly to the right. But you know what? Let's just go with this. I think it's okay for now. And we will hold on to this. So we have our cannon sprite, we have our imp sprite, and hmm, maybe we can start getting a background. So let's go ahead and generate new. And I guess it would be a sprite as well, huh? Yeah, it's not any of the other things. So, city background, right? So now we're gonna go for one of these backgrounds. Let's go with this one, 3D. Well, we don't want 3D, we want 2D. Anime 2.0. Hmm. All right, let's try this one and let's see how it goes. We can a dark city background for a 2D game. Background must loop, preferably with parallax, right? So we can have a nice image. Let's go with 4. Oh, we can do custom dimensions? Yeah, so we want it definitely longer if possible, right? Let's try custom dimensions. So if we want it much longer horizontally, then we do 220 by 1600. Can we generate this? No, it doesn't let us. Okay, fine. We'll we'll just do this. Okay, 2D game. So hopefully it gives this to us. Let's generate it. All right. So if you guys do have any questions for me, please feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. I'm going to start some of the generation here. And then from that point, we can then talk to the AI and have it start coding the game, essentially. So that is going to be my plan, and we should have at least the base form of the game up and running, and then the shop up and running after this. So either during this video or maybe in the next one, we should have something that's playable at the minimum, right? And then the rest is all about polishing and starting to add the details and then iterating and testing and then going forward from there, right? So we just have to add the systems and work with the AI to polish the game essentially. So let's see what we get. I think this one's taking longer because the dimensions are far more vast than some of the others, but and this might be a good if we can get some good backgrounds. Okay. Oh, these are pretty cool actually. Can I see them larger? Yeah, okay. It's a little, it's not long, huh? I wish it was like 1280 by 1280. It doesn't look like that, but let's go with this one. I like the ground on this one. So we're gonna go with this one and then we'll kind of take it from there. I wish it was longer because 1280 by 1280 makes me think it's long, but maybe not. So, okay. So we have some backgrounds. We have the imp. We have a cannon. I think we can get started, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put the AI into plan mode. I'm going to put it on ultra at the start so it can use its processing power to the best of its ability. And I'm going to give it a prompt. So let's start making a 2D game where the player starts with a cannon on the bottom left side of the screen. They can angle the cannon with their mouse's vertical movement. So up is a higher angle and moving the mouse down is a lower angle, right? From 90 degrees to 0 degrees facing the right. A bar rises from bottom to top to indicate power. If the player can left click at the very top of the meter bar, they can get the cannon to launch at maximum power. Any other position they stop it on is proportional to the cannon's power. For example, at 50% of that bar, they press left click, the cannon shoots at 50% power. The cannon is shooting out an imp. The game is called Launch the Imp, right? Depending on how far this imp travels, the player gets cash based on distance once the imp stops moving. After the shot, the player can go to a shop menu and purchase upgrades. These upgrades include boosters for the imp, guns to left click on the imp, and new cannons that are more powerful than the previous one. Don't implement any shop items yet because I will tell you their properties in a future prompt. Let's just get the base gameplay working for now, and then we can work on the shop together. Okay, I think I've covered it pretty well. We're going to make a 2D game where the player can move their mouse up and down to angle their cannon, and they have to left click and time a meter for the cannon's power. The cannon shoots out an imp that the camera should follow, right? Let me go here. Oh, my Unity is freezing a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about. Maybe I've written too much and I have to just hit enter at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, there we go. Yeah, it's like freezing. It's not letting me type in here. Maybe I've written too much for the context window or something. As you can see, I'm like trying to write more. Okay. Okay, I can. So the camera should follow the imp the entire time. Okay. So notice how I haven't mentioned the different backgrounds, what the distance should be, any UI elements. I'm not trying to overwhelm the AI. I also haven't mentioned the obstacles yet because that's a whole nother system that needs to be added. So I think this is good enough. I think this is a great starting point, and I don't think it's going to overwhelm the AI too much. So as soon as I'm able to press enter, I'm just going to hit enter and let's just see what it generates. So notice how I put it in plan mode first so it can plan the game out, right? It's going to read through my project files. It's going to look in all these folders and it's going to decide, oh, look, you have an imp sprite here. You have a cannon sprite here. Oh, you have a background. Cool, right? And then we can take it from there. So it's going to go ahead and read everything. I'll start by understanding the current project state, which is empty. For any existing plans, let me explore in parallel. Whoa, I don't know why it has, oops, there's my alarm. I should be ending the video soon. So yeah, I don't know where all those sprites came from. Maybe it's like the default demo stuff for this 2D Unity Unity file, if it comes with all that. I should have mentioned that the cannon is launching the imp to the right side of the screen. I did mention that it was on the bottom left side, bottom left corner. But I should, let's see what it comes up with and then we'll have to adjust things. So but right now this will probably be the longest iteration because it has to go through everything, it has to check all the sprites. I see it found the 3 sprites that we made at the beginning. And then once we see what it makes, I will go ahead and do a playtest so that you can see together, and then I'll end the video there and I will continue working in the next video. So again, if you do enjoy these long, slow videos where I'm showing everything, my mistakes, my success, my reasoning, um, definitely hit that subscribe button because I've been looking for content like this and I haven't been able to find it. So if you appreciate it, definitely let me know and follow along on my journey. And then hopefully you're gaining knowledge from this so that you can also go on your own game dev journey and create your dream game. So that is my goal with this channel, and I hope that everybody who follows along is able to find that success with themselves. Um, and we can do it together. And any questions that you have, always feel free to ask, and I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability. No gatekeeping here. So I mean, I know I said I wasn't going to cut anything out, but if it's just sitting here and nothing's really happening, I may cut some things out just to avoid the dead time and but I don't know. It really depends on, oh, it's asking me questions. Okay. How should mouse movement control the Canon angle? Where the mouse sits vertically on the screen maps directly to the angle. Top of the screen would be nah. Nudging the mouse up and down incrementally raises and lowers the angle. Use mouse as delta. Matches your mouse movement. Wording and feels tactile but has no fixed on-screen reference. Yeah, it doesn't have to be 90 at the top of the screen and well, maybe, right? Predictable, easy to re-aim. Um, yeah, that doesn't have to be difficult for any reason. Let's go with absolute. What should the launch flow be? How many clicks? Huh? You aim freely with the mouse while the power bar is rising. Yes, I think it's this one. Left click locks the current power and fires at the current angle. Yep. Yeah, no, just one click. When the rising power bar reaches the top without a click, what happens? Oh, I see. Um, uncaught it. No, we don't want it to fire at 100% automatically. The bar jumps back to 0 and rises again? No. Ping pong, I think it's this one. Bar rises to the top, then falls back down and repeats oscillating. Yep. Yep. Let's do oscillating. How should the camera follow the imp? Lightweight script that tracks the imp with smoothing, no extra package dependency, easy to tweak. Adds a Cinemachine package for pro damping, dead zones, and auto framing zoom. I don't think we really need any of this stuff. For now, I'm going to say a simple custom script. This could be a mistake, but I'm going to click it for now. So let's submit this. Oh, look, it knows toss the turtle, right? Burrito bison, never heard of that one. Learn to fly. So it has a reference, which is great. And that's the exact reference I wanted it to have. I should have included it in my first prompt as well, actually, because it is able to find games and have them as references so that it can, utilize them and have an easier time building the game, right? So again, after this prompt, guys, I will probably end the video after showing what it's done, and then we'll start with part 2 as we continue to build and iterate. This video has gone on a little bit longer than I anticipated, but again, I do want to give you guys the full transparency, so I don't mind at this point letting it run a little bit more because I do want to show you that I'm not coding anything on the side, right? I feel like a lot of these AI game dev channels, they'll say, I made a game with AI in 2 hours, right? And then the guy's sitting there coding like off screen and essentially, making the game himself, but just saying that it's AI because it's the new craze, right? And they want viewership. So that's why I'm choosing to, let it rock. Just drinking some water. So essentially, guys, you want to put your assistant into plan mode first, and then you put it into agent mode to execute the changes that it plans out. When you're doing a large task, so like basically setting up the entire game, you want to put it into ultra mode because it's maximum power, so it's going to use a lot of tokens, but it's going to get stuff done, right? For any task that's like really simple, like a one shot or a one off, you're gonna do Unity Lite. And then in general, for most things, you're gonna do Unity Default, right? So this takes the least amount of credits, tokens, this takes the most amount of tokens, and this is like a middle ground, right? So, but for really, really big tasks, like setting up multiple systems and calculating like the entire game structure, okay, I mean, I'm just gonna trust it right now, and then we can reiterate it, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and run the plan. Yeah, for any very intensive tasks, I always put it on Unity Ultra. For things that are simple, like, hey, can you recolor this character model? I put it on light, or just really simple tasks that are just like one thing or should be like just tweaking a variable. I put it on light, or I try to do those myself. And then for the middle ground stuff, I'm mostly using the default. So that's just a frame of reference for you guys. So input handling, okay. So I may fast forward through all this just because, like I said, the video is taking a long time. Again, I don't know how to program. There's nothing that I can add to this that this assistant isn't going to be able to do. So I may cut out like however long this takes just to not have this video go on to be 1 hour. And then I'll jump back in just to hit play and show you. But you can see the time on my PC, it's literally 1:38 a.m. So if I do cut it out, look at the amount of time that the AI is taking, and then subtract it from the actual real world time, and you can see that I didn't have any time to code anything and program anything. I just don't want the video to drag on and really bore people, because it is still an audience kind of thing, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it do its thing, get to the end, and then I'm gonna come back and meet you guys. So let's let it do its thing, and then I will just cut this portion out, and then we'll take it from there. Or maybe not, maybe I'll just let it run and I'll just upload this entire thing to YouTube just to get it out there, right? Maybe. But it's at 38 minutes right now. It looks like it's gonna, at the rate that this thing is going, it hasn't even done anything yet. It's probably gonna be like, I don't know, a 40 or 50-minute video. Definitely a 40-minute video, maybe a 50-minute video. But yeah, when using the AI assistant, there's a lot of waiting around because it's essentially doing all the coding, it's setting up all the scripts, and it's doing the implementation. Input handling, let me check the recommended pattern. I'll start writing the interdependent scripts, right? So it's going. I don't think I've used many credits yet, even still. Oh, there we go. Yeah, run the summary panel is shown. Perfect. Shop panel is open, which is a placeholder for now. Cool. So the fun part is when we get to add all the items into the shop, and then we start adding some obstacles for the imp to collide into that do different things. And then from that, it's all polishing, right? Then after that, it's adding new backgrounds, adding new obstacles, tweaking the power of the guns and the cannons and the boosters, seeing how they all interact, making sure the game's not too easy or too difficult. Tweaking the values of the obstacles showing up, like their percentage chance of showing up. And yeah, and then just polishing it, adding some nice sound effects where they all belong, making the game just feel good, adding some VFX where they need to be, adding good music, and then just testing, right? That's kind of like what I'm thinking this is going to be like. So the reference classes don't exist yet, so it has to make the classes. So we are still in step one. And I'm sure it's going to get some things wrong because maybe I didn't provide all the details that were needed. So then I'm going to have to go back in and tell it to change or fix certain things so that it can follow the specification of the game design document. And I was referencing Toss the Turtle as well, just to, make sure I'm not missing anything for a game like this and just to kind of see what is important, what makes it fun. Okay. Again, like I said, especially for the first iteration, most of it, the time spent is going to be waiting. So I might upload this video in its entirety since it's the first one of its kind. And then in future iterations, I will begin to cut this time. And again, you can always look at the time on my PC and then reference the time that the AI is thinking. And unless I have lightning hands, there's no way, and I'm like a godlike coder, there's no way that I can be coding within the time that this takes to generate. It's impossible, I think. So like that, it'll make the videos more concise, more digestible, and you guys know that I'm not completely lying or fabricating anything you know, and it's still as transparent as can be given reason. Interesting that it's failing to load the image assets. I do have sprites that it should be able to find. So I might have to tell it to use the imp sprite in the sprites folder and the cannon sprite. Even though the cannon is not facing front, it's facing like it's like isometrically facing to the right, but also front, like facing the camera. So I might have to replace the cannon sprite. So we will see what it comes up with, but it's definitely taking its sweet time. So in the meantime, this is where, you know, if you're working on this game, you can be going to GPT and generating some button PNGs for the shop. You can be generating some icons and some promo art, which I do have a laptop here on the side, and I might just do that in the meantime. Just for conciseness. And yeah, so I'll set a sensible per sprite PPU to the cannon. Okay. So I'm not logged into my GPT account on this PC, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have GPT generate some sprite art, some buttons for the shop for all the guns, the cannons, and the boosters. And then I'm going to remove their backgrounds, crop them, and then email them to myself so then I can import them into this Unity project. And then those will be used in the shop as buttons. So then if you click on, let's say, the AK-47 button and you have enough money, you can purchase that gun, and then every gun has different properties. So the shop will essentially be all completed, right? So the main challenge of this game is going to be the physics on the imp, as well as the obstacles appearing and in the backgrounds, right? Those are going to be the main challenges of this game. The shop is simple, and the basic canon like events and physics should also be simple. So so launch the imp, which is inspired by Toss the Turtle, an old stylized Flash game on Newgrounds. I'm working on the shop menu and I need stylized buttons with icons in the middle of them. These will include cannons, guns, and boosters for the imp. For me, 8 buttons for each of these guns. So number 1, so let's take a look quick. While this is doing its work, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the dock and let's look at the guns real quick. So number 1 is a wooden sling shot with red band. Number 2 is a little black 9mm handgun. Number 3 is a German Ruger gun. Number 4 is a silver shiny Desert Eagle. Number 5 is AK-47. Number 6, an op sniper rifle with strong barrel. Number 7, a green army grade rocket launcher. And number 8, a golden handgun like in 007. Do not include any text on these buttons. Just a box/border and the picture of the gun in the middle. Okay, so while I have GPT generating me some of the shop things, I'm going to work on the boosters and the cannons next. And then lastly, oh, I guess I can add the nuke, right? Yeah. The 3 boosters and the nuke, and then the cannons, and then we're done with all the shop buttons, actually. That's crazy. Okay, so sometimes this will pop up and it's gonna ask to allow. So I'm gonna go ahead and allow it to do a screen capture so that we can see what's going on. So that it can see what's going on and then it can work based on that, right? So that's fine. That works for me. So I'm kind of like doing two things at the same time now. On the laptop, I'm having some shop buttons built, and on the desktop, I still have the Unity AI working. So you can do this too with if you have a second monitor, you can work on icons and buttons on one monitor, and then on the other, you can have Unity AI Assistant continuing to design the game and build the game for you. So why is the cannon facing left? I thought I specifically said face right, but maybe I didn't. So that's going to be a tweak that I'm going to have to give it. But I do like that it's using the sprites, which is awesome and perfect. So that's great. Okay, is it making these things? Yes, it did make them. Okay. Okay, great. Now, please make me these buttons next. So, oh, it wants another screen capture. Okay, interesting that it's asking so frequently. So, one, a nuclear bomb. Two, so what was that? Shoddy booster. It's a homemade fireworks. Made fireworks jetpack. 3. Scientist rocket jetpack. 4. Alien tech double rocket jetpack. I should say single rocket jetpack. Number 5. Now we're gonna do the cannons. A silver shiny cannon. Number 6, a golden slightly larger cannon. Number 7, a white alien space tech cannon. And number 8, a large and shiny diamond cannon. There we go. So now I'm going to have GPT make me these. And then let's see. Oh, another screen capture is needed. Give me 1 second, guys. There is an intruder in my room. Hold on a second. Gonna let it keep running. That is not. Is it? Oh, it is. No. What the hell? Where did it go? It's always wants another. How? How is that possible? Oh, that's so insane. All right, this is actually going to be more than just a 50-minute video. So do you guys ever just see like a giant spider or a giant insect in your room spawn, and then when you get up to like go do something about it, it disappears? So I just experienced that. Super random. I wish it would have not disappeared. I just don't have anything to do battle with right now. But it's huge, whatever that thing is. And yeah, this Unity AI is still going at it. It's taking it, sure is taking its sweet time. Whoa. We're sorry, the prompt may violate our guardrails? How? Doesn't like nukes? Um, okay. A nuke? Warhead? If it doesn't like nuke, I'll just write a large bomb. I know this was so political. Okay, the looks like the cannon's facing to the right now, actually. So that's good. Yeah, I don't know how giant insects even get in here. The window's closed. If I see it, I must act immediately. Whatever it is, it's very fast because it's not staying put. But it does like the wall. Okay, let's see if it's gonna complain about. Okay, there we go. So I have my shop buttons. I'm gonna download them. Yeah, as you can see, this is kind of something that you can do while you're doing anything else. You want to do some workouts, you want to continue working on other aspects of the project, you can on a second window or a second machine. Um, oh yeah, import TMP essentials. I didn't even see this pop up. You know, there's a lot that you can do while this is working independent of you. So that's one of the best parts. But it does take some time. As you can see, it's not like an instant silver bullet or cure all. Um, you know, it requires some finagling, some back and forth. It'll ask you questions. It might get some things wrong. Console is clean. Okay. So this might work. So one thing about the Canon is we want it to follow the mouse, right? I don't think this Canon sprite is like detached enough where if I lift my mouse, it's gonna lift the Canon up, right? So little things like that is really what we're gonna have to work on, right? Is what we're gonna have to fine tune to make the feel of the game like feel good to play. And that's really what makes or breaks a game, right? So that's kind of where we're at. But it's a good start. It's a good starting point, and those other things I can figure them out as we go along. And hopefully, in the coming weeks, you can see the progress and you can see the difference in that. Yeah, it's funny because the cannons in the Chat GPT shop photos are also angled almost the same way. It's like isometrically facing left, but also forward, which is interesting. Whereas we kind of need these to just face directly to the right, like purely horizontal. But we can't get picky. This is the start. We can always fine tune it later on. So let's see what happens. And I'm very much looking forward to ending this video because it's already been 1 hour. I'm sure I I I don't know. If you've made it this far, write something. It wants to run an unsafe command. Right, I made it till the end. I I'll give you a cookie in the comments. I'll be very surprised to see if anybody made it to the end of this video. I should probably make them a lot more concise. Okay, looks like it finished. All right, let's see how many credits I have. All right, it used about 1,000 credits. That's about $10, right? It's about $10. So let's go ahead and let's test out the game. I'm gonna go ahead and save my project. Let's test it out. And let's see what happens if we got what we asked for. Okay, so the cannon does in fact adjust. Whoa, but it's reloading domains, it's doing all sorts of stuff while I'm trying to play it. I don't know why it's doing all this in the meantime. The imp should also be inside the cannon, but we'll fix that later. Okay. And let's try to get full power. Launch. Okay. Well, distance isn't being calculated and neither is cache. The power bar is still moving. So as you can see, we definitely have a lot to work on and fix. A lot. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. I'm going to try it again. It seems like we have a curl error. Okay. Anyway, guys, you can see what we got with one prompt. Now it's up to us to refine this and try to make it much better. And we will do that in the next video. Because this is, oh, distance works. Cache is calculating now, I think. Unless that was just given to me. Oh, there we go. Launch again, or I can go to the shop. Okay. Hey, look at that. Let's launch again. Boom. Cache is happening instantly. It should maybe wait for the distance to finalize, but now let's go to the shop. Balance is 240. The upgrades are coming soon. Hey, for all intents and purposes, it does technically work. So now we're going to start polishing it and try to make it into a real full-fledged game. So cool, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this a thumbs up if you appreciated the type of content. And I will see you guys all in the next devlog, in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.